Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, for our second slot, Growth Through Diversity, Your Culture, My Culture, aims to celebrate the vibrant array of cultures that coexist in our world by embracing the unique customs, traditions, and perspectives of different societies. We broaden our horizons and gain a deeper appreciation for the richness of our shared humanity. Through interactive sessions, presentations, and engaging discussion, we will learn from one another, dismantle stereotypes, and foster mutual respect. Let us begin this remarkable journey of building bridges and breaking barriers. With that, I will pass this floor to Muhammad Hakimi Al-Fawzan bin Hamzah.
Assalamualaikum and good evening to everyone. All praise to Allah, the God Almighty, for His blessings as we can continue our second slot in the Building Bridges and Breaking Barriers program organized by University Teknologi Mara, Jengka Campus, Pahang, Malaysia. This evening's forum is known as Growth Through Diversity, Your Culture, My Culture. I hope that we can gain knowledge about culture across our borders. Before we start sharing our culture with the whole world, I would like to remind audiences that if you have questions to ask our incredible panels regarding cultures, you may do so through the comment section. In order to ensure that your question is being answered, I would like to suggest the audience to ask during the question and answer session. Dear beloved audiences, the attendance form will be posted during the Q&A session. I hope all of you are alert with the information given. In order to smooth the path of our forum, let's familiarize ourselves with our guests. For starters, I would like to introduce myself. Hello, my name is Muhammad Hakimi Afawzan bin Hamzah, your moderator for this evening. My respected audiences, I am being accompanied by three panels to share their precious knowledge of their cultures. Our first panel is from our closest neighbor, University Halu Oleo, Indonesia, Ms. Agil Lestari. Our second panel came from Turkiye, representing Hasan Kalyoncu University, Turkiye, Ms. Nurjihan Yaren. Our last panel is Ms. Maizatul Akasha binti Mio Muhammad Hafiz, representing University Teknologi Mara Shah Alam Campus, Selangor, Malaysia. A warm welcome is extended to our panels. Before we start sharing information regarding our topic, I think it will be a privilege for us to get acquainted with our panels. Henceforth, I would like to invite our panel to perhaps do the honor to introduce themselves to the audience. We begin with Ms. Agil Lestari. Hello, Ms. Agil. Could you introduce yourself?
Hello, Hakimi. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here in this great program. Uh, my name is Agil Lestari, but for short, you can call me just Gail. And currently, I'm enrolled as environmental science student, and this is probably my last year in this university. But I hope that in the future, I will join you guys in maybe collaborate with your university or anything else. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Agil. Next, we proceed with Ms. Nurjihan Yaren. Miss, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hello everyone. My name is Nurjihan Yaran Dinch, and you can call me Yaran. I'm 22 years old, uh, and this is my last year in my university. I'm from Turkey. I was born and raised here in Turkey. As I said, this is my last year in my university. I will be graduated very soon. Uh, I'm so happy to be a part of this program. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Ms. Yaran. Lastly, Ms. Maizatul. Miss, perhaps you could introduce yourself to the audience.
Hello, hi. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, of course, Miss.
Okay. So, my name is Maizatul Akasha binti Nur Mama Hafiz. You guys can call me Akasha. I am a second law student in UiTM Shah Alam in Malaysia. and I am a member of the Student Representative Council for UiTM Shalom. Okay, thank you so much for having me, and I feel so honored that I am given the chance to be here.
Thank you, Miss Maizatul. Hearing the background of our panels, I think the audience, including me, are astonished with our awesome panelists. It is no doubt that they could share with us their knowledge about their culture. To our respected audiences, I hope that you will scribble down knowledge as much as you could. I also wish that the audience to stay loyal with us until the end of our program. Before we dig deep into cultural sharing, it is appropriate for us to know the definition of culture. An English scholar, Sir Edward B. Taylor, was a founding figure of cultural anthropology. According to B. Taylor, culture is a complex whole which include knowledge, belief, art, law, morals, custom, and any other capabilities acquired by man as a member of society. Since the time of Taylor, there are many theories of culture being developed by anthropologists. Now, I would like to ask our panel to share with us their cultures. Let's start with Miss Yaran. Miss, in your culture, how do the students behave towards older people, especially lecturers at the university?
The students are extremely respectful towards their lecturers. They are used to having a huge respect for their teachers. Turkey is one of the countries where the teachers are respected the most, and and there is a hierarchical system in schools here in Turkey, and actually Turkish society is generally hierarchical and authoritarian in nature. Students are conditioned from an early age to respect authority and confirm the laws and institutional procedures. Also, showing respect to elders is a major social norm in Turkish traditions, and so it is important.
Thank you, Miss Yaran. In the Turkey, the students are taught to respect the teachers. There are hierarchy in schools. Miss Agil, what is your opinion on this? How do the students in your culture behave toward the older citizen?
All right, thank you. So in my culture, so I'm talking as a local native, and not a native, a mixture of Minahasa and Munanis. So in Munanis, as Munanis, we do respect our elders and community. So since we were a little, um, we have a culture event that called Katoba that we have to attend when we were little. And in this event, as a child, we will have like we will wear a traditional clothes and some, and we gotta get some lecture from the elders, and they told us to give us some things to do. They told us how we should do things in our life, how do we interact with others, so that when we're growing up, we don't do such as like um, do something that aren't supposed to do, like telling other people they are bad without telling them the reason or some sort of like that. And at the time when there was no influence from the outside world, well, this event called Katoba, parents rather put them in Katoba rather than putting them on formal schools, because they think that if they teach them how to do things in life in informal way, they think that that's all they need. But as the time goes, um, they still need to go to the formal school. But uh, the second, but the since the transportation and all kind of stuff going on, um, as the time passed, they forgotten this culture. But still, these days, people still respect the elders.
Thank you, Miss Agil, for your sharing. According to Miss Agil, there is a ceremony called Katoba where, where students wearing traditional clothes and the older give lessons such as how to talk to others. Thank you, Miss Agil. In our culture, one way to show respect to the older people is through our language. Language is one of the major components of culture that could make people communicate with one another, build relationship, create a sense of community. Miss Maizatul, could you tell us why do you like your language?
All right. Thank you so much for the question, Mr. Moderator. So, for me, the reason why I love my language is because I believe that Bahasa Melayu or Bahasa Malaysia can be easily learned by anyone, by everyone. So, from my own experience, a lot of foreigners that come to Malaysia or tourists only take a couple of days to assimilate or to learn the language, the Bahasa Malaysia. So, besides that, it is also spoken and also understood in most Southeast Asia countries such as Singapore, Indonesia, as well as certain regions in Thailand and the Philippines. Since we share the same ancestors, or our ancestors are related. And other than that, the thing that I love so much about our language is we have so many um, unique dialects that is geographically influenced. So in Malaysia, we basically have 13 states and one federal state, three federal state that have their own dialect. For example, the pronunciation for eat in Malay is makan, but then in Kelantanese dialect we pronounce it as make. So that shows how unique our language is. And other than that, I would say our language is quite soft. Like how the pronunciation is very I would say with manners and soft. For example, if I want to talk, for example, in traditional Malay, when we want to talk to someone, we will call them, or for example, if a parent want to advise their child, they will call them my love or um, sayang in Malay. So yeah, that's from me. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Maizatul. According to Miss Maizatul, she loves Bahasa Malaysia because it can be learned easily by foreigners. The foreigners only take a few days to assimilate the Bahasa Malaysia. According to Miss Maizatul also that Bahasa Malaysia has unique dialects. Thank you, Miss Maizatul. Miss Yaran, could you illuminate us about the academic culture in your university that fascinates you and other people, including foreigners? Perhaps in terms of academic outlooks, academic spirits, academic ethics, and academic environments.
Uh, Turkey's current academic culture situation uh, covers the categories of educational activities, scientific activities and contribution, and social responsibility. Universities show that they are more component in the field of educational activities in the terms of social responsibility and scientific activity and contribution, despite the differences between the universities and even the academic culture is largely education oriented, mainly due to the in and out of academic expectations. Yeah, that was all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Yaran, for her sharing. Miss Agil, what is your opinion about this academic culture in your university that amazed you and the people around you?
Oh, as for me, I would say the environment. So people here were so humble and friendly, even though the lecture. At some point, I was thinking that the lecturer will be. I pictured as a killer. We won't dare to ask something, but as we go in our academy or our university, it changed my mind entirely because the collaboration, the harmony here, it's really, I couldn't say anything more than amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Agil, for information. Miss Agil said people in Indonesia are humble, friendly, and harmony. Thank you, Miss. Miss Maizatul, do you think that there is any connection between culture and learning style in the university? Perhaps you could enlighten us about it.
All right. I think I do believe so because culture is always embedded in our daily lives. Let alone our learning style. So, for example, our students love to burn the midnight oil. Like they love to stay up so late because the culture here in Malaysia, we love to spend our time during the day uh, to gather with friends, to attend social gatherings, outings, playing sports, and so on. So the culture here and the learning style here is we like to burn the midnight oil. So in relation to that, our students also like to they prefer to study and learn among their peers more than they would with their lecturers because um, similar to any other Asian countries, we Malaysians really put our elderlies like lecturers on higher pedestals. So since our view towards our lecturer is with respect, so we prefer to study more in group with our friends because sometimes we are shy to meet our lecturers and so on. So the culture here is study grouping. And other than that, I would say we would you know um, initiate any mentoring program where our seniors will mentor and help our junior or any younger student in their academics. So yeah.
All right, thank you, Miss Maizatul, for explanation. According to Miss Maizatul, culture embedded in our daily life, let alone in learning style. Students tend to go to social gathering and activities such as for social game. Students love to study among their peers. Thank you, Miss Maizatul. In the train of thought, Miss Agil, in your opinion, is it when in Rome, do as the Romans do is always a piece of good advice? Could you provide us with a reason based on your opinion?
All right, thank you. Well, I do think that when in Rome, do as the Romans do is always a good advice. Um, it really keeps you safe for almost any conflict whatsoever. Well, I did experience one time. I got told that I could not be too loud at the certain area or certain time, and well, I got not a good experience while visiting a place in Moon Island. Well, at that time, I was a little bit too loud when talking, and one of the locals was really angry about that, and I got chased. It was not a good experience, but I think that it relates on this. Better listen and do as the locals do. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Agil. She said the advice of the advice when in room, do as the Romans do is always a good advice. For instance, she gave us her experience that she have been in, that she have been told to cannot, that she cannot be loud in certain places and certain times. Thank you, Miss Agil. In every culture across the globe, there are things that considered rude to say or to do. Miss Yaran, what is considered rude in your culture? And is there anything that in your culture is considered a norm, while in other cultures is considered rude?
Thank you. For example, it is considered rude uh, if you turn up and take-handed. What I mean by it is that it is considered rude if you don't bring something with you when you are invited to someone's house for the first time. Uh, in your first visit, you should bring flowers or chocolates. Uh, yeah, flowers or chocolates will work, or something from your home country would also work, or pastries like baklava. It is Turkey's traditional dessert, or alcohol are also a popular gift, and sweets if there will be children. Or in another example, leaving food on your plate is considered rude in Turkey, because in Turkey, when you leave food on your plate, it automatically means that you didn't enjoy the meal. And the employees of the restaurant or your hosts will be directly offended. If you're just incredibly full or can't take another bite, you can definitely let them know and uh, not run into any misunderstanding. However, eating everything on your plate is always the better path to take. And when it comes to something that in my culture is considered a norm, while in different culture is considered rude, I can show this hand gesture. Uh, this hand gesture. It means in Turkey, wow, the food is really delicious, and it's not considered rude. Or you can also mean in a conversation, look, I'm telling you, can't you just try to understand, or something like this? And it's not considered rude, but this hand gesture that I showed in Italy, it means it represents a curse word, so it is considered very rude. Yeah, that was all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Agil. According to okay, thank you, Miss Yaran. I'm sorry, Miss Yaran said
It's okay.
when you when you go to someone's house, or when you go to someone's house, you need to bring flowers or Turkish traditional desserts. Second thing that I heard from Miss Yaran is you cannot leave leftover food on the plate. It's considered rude. Thank you, Miss Yaran. Miss Agil, um, what in your culture that is considered normal, but in other culture is still considered rude? Could you tell us about it?
All right, thank you. Well, for now, all that I know it's about language gaps. So all we know that Indonesian have thousands. I don't think it's thousands. It's hundreds of local language. At certain point, they have similar words, but they have a different meaning. So, for example, I have a close friend who is a native from Wanchi or from Wakatobi Island. Well, at that time, we passed on a small restaurant that has a name of sea urchins. Uh, as a local, we call it uni. But for them, it was something that is not should we should not say that in public. They say that it has to do with some body parts on sorts. It's just embarrassing. So for another time, he was telling me about his being confused too with our main transportation name. So for us here in Kendari, we called like public transportation. It's like a minivan. It's called PT, but in some sort of in their language they call it PT. But for it's not like a minivan. It's just like a canoe or a small boat. When he first visiting in Kendari, they think that Kendari is filled with water everywhere, and we're going to school using a canoe. But I told him, no, no, we don't use that. Pete is just like a car or something. That's just a simple daily things that sometimes make us a little mad because we don't know it is appropriate for them or appropriate for us. I think that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Agil. According to Miss Agil, certain words have certain meanings. What about in your culture, Miss Maizatul? Could you share it with us?
All right. Wait. I just want to double confirm. Is the question is about what is considered rude in my culture? Yes.
Yes. Is it
All
true?
right. All right. So since Malaysia, we are a multiracial, a multicultural, multiracial, multi-religion country where we have Malays, Indians, Chinese, and many other ethnicity. So anything that offends other races is considered as rude in Malaysia. So ever since we are little, our elders, our parents will literally teach us what is considered as sensitive to other races. For example, when I was little, my parents taught me that Indians cannot eat meat. So uh, ever since that, I'll never ever eat meat in front of my Indian friends. And as for Chinese, we cannot wear black attire during their Chinese New Year if we were to visit them. So because it considered as bringing bad luck. So when I learned that, I will make sure that I won't wear black anywhere near my Chinese friends during their Chinese New Year festive seasons. And as for public etiquette, I would say wearing revealing clothes is considered as rude in Malaysia. So most places in Malaysia requires you to dress modestly. Not just any religious house or whatsoever. Even our government office have their own specific clothing etiquette. So, for example, if you want to enter a government building, the length of your skirt must be below of your knees, and you cannot wear any short pants or slippers and whatsoever to a government building because it is considered as rude. And other than that, we also don't address our elders by their name. So if you watch any Western movies, etc., most of them will call their uncles or their dad by their name. But we in Malaysia, we call them by respected titles, even though they are a complete stranger on the street. For example, if I saw an elder woman at the street and I want to help her, I will literally address her as nene. For example, maybe because she's old, she's old. So I was like, "Excuse me, nene, can I help you?" Not just by calling her name or like ask her what's your name, can I help you. No, we call them by their respected titles, or else it'll be considered as rude. So yeah.
Thank you, Miss Maizatul. According to Miss Maizatul, anything that offend other cultures in Malaysia is considered rude. For example, meat cannot be eaten by the Indians. Younger Younger people cannot address older people by their names. Instead, they have to call them with their respected titles. For an example, Nenek, Atuk, Pakcik. Thank you, Miss Maizatul. Miss Yaran, what is the part of your culture that you consider the most exciting for you?
Sorry, can I have the question again?
All right, it's okay. I repeat, what is the part of your culture that you consider the most exciting for you?
Uh, the most exciting. Uh, I have never thought of it, so I'm thinking about it right now. I or maybe not the most exciting, but uh, I can say what I love. Uh, For example, I love just like Miss Akasha said, in my culture, uh, I love the respect in my culture. I can say this. Uh, just like Miss Akasha said, in my culture we have honorifics or respected titles as well. Uh, so when you're talking to someone older than you, you have to show your respect with your words, with your respected titles or honorifics. Uh, yeah, I can say that I love this characteristic of my culture. Thank you.
According to Miss Yaran, the most culture that the part of her culture that she loves is respecting the elders by calling them with honorable names. Miss Agil, what is the most exciting part of your culture that you want to share with us?
Well, thank you. So, the part that makes me excited is a lot of culture that we could not explore it by one day, because in Indonesia there's tons of culture. I mean, from the Aceh through Papua, there's a lot of culture. As for myself here, um, I could say the food and the traditional event. So I actually did not um, learn about the deepest or the sources about that, but at the meantime I saw people that when we visited a huge event, they do like what is it called, like opening dances. They have certain names on it. It feels like we're honored to be there. And also the people here are really humble, and even though you are strangers, they don't think they don't like they don't being a racist. They just helps you out. Maybe if you're lost and you're just don't know where you're going, and you can just ask them like, Miss atau Ibu, can I go? Do you know where is this, or can you help me with this? They're just spontaneously just help you out. Even at like some people doesn't want to help strangers at if like in the late night, but most of our people they just like give it a shot. Maybe this person really needs some help. Maybe that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Agil. Thank you, Miss Agil. According to Miss Agil, Indonesia, there are tons of culture, but what she loved the most is the food and the traditional ceremonies. Everyone, even though for to the strangers, they are still treated nicely. Miss Akasha, what are the part of your culture that excites you the most? That you wanted to bring it to the whole world, to share it with the whole world?
All right. What about my culture that I'm excited the most? So I would say I'm the most excited and very, very proud about how harmonically my culture, like the various cultures in Malaysia, adapts to one another. So since I said just now, just like I said just now, that Malaysia is multiracial, right? So we have so many cultures, and we are able to combine them into one beautiful culture, into one beautiful Malaysia culture. For example, the food that comes from various races, such as roti canai from Indians, char kway teow from Chinese, and nasi lemak from Malays, are all consumed by everyone in Malaysia. And some people, some chef, some cook, are even willing to modify their recipes of their traditional food to make it consumable or halal or vegetarian for Muslims or Indians to consume it as well. And to be honest, I would say we have so many delicious food that if I got the chance to meet Miss Agil or Miss Yaren, I would literally bring you guys to food hunting because I'm so proud of our traditional food. So if you come to Malaysia, do contact me. I'll bring you food hunting. Okay.
Thank you, Miss Akasha. Don't forget about me if you want to go to food hunting. Miss Akasha said there are ways of different culture in Malaysia. The different cultures still manage to become a one huge culture that's called Malaysian culture. For example, food. Thank you, Miss Akasha. All right, let's move on to the next question. Some people further their studies abroad or in a foreign country to gain knowledge that's so valuable. Miss Agil, what is your advice to this group of students that come to your country to study?
All right, thank you. I mean, this is are not just apply to my country but also other country. My advice is just be respectful towards the locals and their traditions. Even though maybe it would be a culture shock for you as a foreigners or us as a foreigners to other country, but that it's what it makes them unique. And like we try to ask the locals what is the things that are prohibited or considered rude to them, so we could blend in, so there's no time to get conflicts with the locals. And there are times that where people don't respect it, whether it's foreigners or locals. Well, I think they would be get troubled on their way on. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Agil. According to Miss Agil, again, the foreign students should be respectful to the locals and their culture, the culture that make them unique. Miss Yaren, what advice would you give to these students when they come to your country to study?
I would say maybe foreign students can learn a few words and phrases in Turkish before coming to Turkey. Uh, Also, it can be really useful to get to know and discover Turkish culture before you come to Turkey. You can easily do that through watching documentaries about Turkey, reading about it, discovering its history and emerging industries. But you don't have to be uh, worried about it because Turkish people are flexible for foreigners. All they want you to do is enjoy the country, and as ingrained in their culture, they embrace strangers with open arms. So,
Thank you, Miss Yaren. According to Miss Yaren, all that she advised to the student that wanted to come to study in Turkey is that the student need to learn a few words or phrase in Turkey. This this could
yeah.
this could this could the easy this could make the communication easier. I'm sorry. All right, Miss Akasha, what advice would you give a foreign student come to your country to study?
All right, what advice I would give? All right, just like Miss Agil and Miss Yarin, I would advise them to look up about our cultures. To be honest, Malaysia is very open to its foreigners. We are very warm to the foreigners, but you just have to look up about our cultures, about our races on the internet before you come to Malaysia. So it will make it easier for you to adapt. And secondly, I would advise you to bring lots of modest clothes since like I mentioned before that most of the buildings here you have to wear modestly to enter. So if you don't have modest clothes, it's gonna make things hard for you since it's in our culture to dress modestly. And thirdly, I would advise you to bring an umbrella and a portable fan. I swear to God, the weather lately is quite crazy, and if it's not raining cats and dogs, the sun will melt you down. Like it's very hot. So do bring your own umbrella and a portable fan because even if you don't use it for the rain, the heavy rain, you will use it to shield yourself from the sun rays because it's so hot here. So bring your umbrella and portable fan.
Thank you, Miss Akasha. According to Miss Akasha, the advice she gave is bring modest clothes since in Malaysia it is a culture to wear a modest clothes. And according to her, don't forget to bring your umbrella and portable fan because it's so hot in Malaysia. All right. It appears that we are at the end of our today's forum. If there are any questions from the audience that you want to ask our panelists, please post them in the comment section. Here, I would also like to remind the audience to register for the program using the link in the comment section. A little summary that I could summarize. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. It's, now I will read the question that have been asked by the audiences. All right. From Celine, Miss Yaren, what is unique belief that people from your community have? Apparently, Miss Yaren has already having a technical issue. I will next to the next question. All right, from Nur Ilya Shafikar Azmi. What is one major stereotype about your culture that you want to remove right now? What about you, Miss Agil?
Sorry, it's been raining heavily here, so I will try to answer it. So I would say there's some major stereotype that been uh running a while. Maybe all the people in the globe already know about Indonesian. They been like they call it netizen or the people that commented at the social media. I mean, most people like uh, trying to express their emotion and what do they feel on social media. But I think maybe the netizen will uh, probably calm down their emotion and use a proper words to the social media because it will damage their own reputation and the nation's reputation also. And I think it's not really a good stereotypes and it really unbeneficial for them and also for other people.
All right, thank you, Miss Agil. Oh, Miss Yaren still having a technical issue. From Fashru Izri Benazri to Miss Akasha as a law student, what is your opinion regarding the rules and punishment that has been done in our country for those who are not being respectful between cultures? Was it enough?
So I think you are the question is about the sensitive issue or the sensitivity of races in our country. So I think the rules and punishment would so far is enough because if you're, for example, if you act rudely towards our monarchy or towards our sultan ydpa, you will be punished accordingly to the law according to our federal constitution. But and other than that, we also have provisions that literally ban you from pick what we call it, pick pick a certain races or like talk badly about other races and so on. So I believe the provision is enough, and not just what you say, even if what you do on social media, what you demonstrate your opinion and so on, if it's sensitive towards other races, and you will be punished. And I think it's very sensible and it's enough in our country.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss Akasha. From Leah, what were your favorite holidays or tradition on maintaining this good tradition? I pass this question to Miss Agil.
All right, thank you. Well, as for favorite holidays, as most Muslims, I would say Eid Fitri, because we could meet, we could get gathering with our uh, grandparents and our family. It's really a good time for family gathering. So as for the tradition as a child or even now, uh probably the one it's Katoba. Even though I have not really join the cultural event because I was born in the city and my parents really busy, so I could not attend it. But even so, I learned about it. It's really uh, make us like have a mental preparation and teach us how to do a great manner to towards others. So I mean, it's really a good thing to what would we say that it's a good thing to continue to do this. I mean, these days most people think that tradition is like an old school and they would not attend like traditional things, events and so on. But in reality, maybe at the time people do that tradition, they didn't know the like specific like scientific reason for that, but it definitely gives you many benefits in the future. With their little knowledge to the outside world, they know how to treat others respectfully. And what would you do to keep on maintaining this good tradition? I would say I embrace my people, my friends that also are Munanis to be sure maybe their family or themselves to join the cultural event more so they would know what is their unique in their tribes or ethnicity. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Agil. To proceed to the next question, this is the first question earlier from Celine. Miss Yaran, what is a unique belief that people from your community have?
Is it like superstitions or so does it mean superstitions or okay, I I can mention superstitions in Turkey. Uh, for example, if you see a black cat somewhere, it means it brings you bad luck. So, and superstitions are very popular in Turkey among older people. Yeah, if I didn't get uh, the question wrong, I can give this example.
All right. Thank you, Miss Yaren. We proceed to the next question. From Nur Aina Afika binti Alias. Have you ever experienced racism and how do you counterattack those situations? I'll pass this question to Miss Yaren once again.
Any argumentative, like any argumentative behaviors. So would try to keep calm.
Seems like Miss Yaran has a technical issue. I'll pass this question to Miss Agil. How you ever experience racism and how do you counterattack those situations? Miss Agil?
Uh, can you repeat the question, please?
Alright, it's okay. The question is from Nuaina Afrika binti Alias. Have you ever experienced racism and how do you counterattack those situations?
All right, I think I get the point of the question. Well, I do experience myself racism, and at that time, people will call me like Chinese people because we're Asians, and some people would call me like a bad mouth because I'm from Indonesia, and the netizen I have like the bad comments on the social media. But the way I counterattack it, I would say I explained it to them like not all people like that. Even though I may look too Asian maybe for them, but it was just like nature. God made me like this. I can do nothing to change that. So it sometimes I would think, why do racism exist? Is it because the difference or something or someone thinks they're superior to others? But I don't think that racism exists. It's just like people wants to be acknowledged their ego and some sort. Back to you, Kimi.
Alright, thank you Miss Agil. We proceed to the last question from the audience. I'll pass this question to Miss Akasha from Shakir Iskandar. How are the family and culture recognized if two nations such as Malaysia and Indonesia get married? I think this question is very interesting.
All right. Thank you for the question. So it's actually happened in my family where some of my relatives are married to Indonesian, and it's actually very exciting because we got to fly over there and experience the wedding. And it was my first time experience Indonesian wedding, where when you come, like when you arrive at the hall, there's literally like a signboard made of flowers, like very big signboard. It was like so very festive, very welcoming, and so on. So I think there will be no problem if for the culture and for our family if two nations such as Malaysia or Indonesia get married, because I would say our culture is quite similar, because I would say we are serumpun, we call it. We are from the same ancestors. So yeah, my answer would be there will be no problem and it will be very exciting.
Alright, thank you Miss Akasha. A little summary that I could summarize from that by our awesome panel is every culture has their own uniqueness. It is our job to preserve our culture. Everyone have to respect cultures as differences make us stronger. I want to express my gratitude to our panels for today by saying thank you very much before we adjourn. We are fortunate to have our panelists since they are willing to give up their time to participate and impart their extensive expertise on the subject to us. I hope the knowledge we learned today could enlighten us to become better individuals by respecting and cherishing the differences in every culture around the world. Right. Here, I would like to I would like to remind to the audiences to sign up their attendance. From me, I would like to apologize for every shortcoming throughout the program that I handle. That's all from me. Goodbye until our next meeting. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I would like to express my sincere gratitude to our moderator for his diligent efforts in moderating the forum. Thank you for your invaluable contributions in ensuring a positive experience for all participants. Distinguished guests, as we come to the end of this program, I am filled with gratitude for the incredible journey we have shared. Building bridges and breaking barriers has been a transformative experience, and I am truly inspired by the connections we have forged and the knowledge we have gained. We have celebrated the beauty of diverse cultures, embracing the richness they bring to our collective tapestry. As we conclude our journey together, let us take the knowledge acquired and the connections forged and integrate them into our everyday existence. May we embody the role of ambassadors for comprehensions, champions of transformations, and creators of connections that unite us all. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to each and every individual for actively engaging and sharing their valuable insights. It is through your unwavering commitment that this initiative has thrived, leaving an everlasting imprint on our souls. May the essence of building bridges and breaking barriers inspire us to establish a world where comprehension, embracing diversity, and solidarity triumph. Ladies and gentlemen, before we conclude this memorable event, I kindly request everyone to please remain present and have your cameras ready as we capture the essence of our shared experience through a group photograph. Thank you and farewell.
All right, everyone. Okay, thank you so much for joining this program. I really appreciate it. It is an honor to have you guys in my program. So now I'm going to start the session. You can make any pose so that I can take you guys picture. Okay, now ready? Three. I think that's all from me. Thank you guys for joining this program. I hope we are going to continue our good relationship and keep in touch with each other. And yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you for the
Thank you.
time.
Thank you. Thank you.